25.8 million people in the United States have diabetes. My grandpa is one of those 25.8 million. I created these cookies for him. These cookies are not only delicious, but they are also healthy for you. In this speech, I'll tell you about diabetes, me creating the recipe, and then the final product. Diabetes. There's 3 different types. The first type is type 1, and it has to do with your immune system. And it's when your pancreas gets attacked, and the cells in your pancreas that create insulin are basically killed, so your body can't make enough insulin. That's why people with diabetes have to inject themselves with insulin. The next type is type 2, and that's what my grandpa has. This is caused by like a bad diet, not getting enough exercise, or being overweight. When he was diagnosed, well, your blood sugar is supposed to be under 125 for a normal person, and his was over 600, and that should have killed him. Thank goodness it didn't. He was in the hospital for a couple days, and they thought he should have been in like a diabetic coma almost, but he wasn't, and he's fine now. He has to check his blood sugar like this person is, and he has to inject himself with insulin, and he also has to take medication. The third type of diabetes is gestational diabetes, and it has to do with pregnancy. And I don't know anyone that has that, so I don't know a lot about it. Type 2 diabetes is the most common type of diabetes. Now that we've talked about diabetes, I'm going to tell you about creating the recipe. So creating the recipe, I want to make it as healthy as possible. So I use applesauce instead of oil. It keeps the moisture in the cookies so they don't dry out. And applesauce is also healthier than oil. I use egg beaters instead of normal eggs because egg beaters are low in cholesterol and they're healthier than normal eggs. I also use Splenda for normal sugar because Splenda is basically shaved sugar, so you use less of it, and it also has artificial stuff in it, like preservatives, then that helps, like, with it being healthier. We couldn't use cinnamon. That was in the original recipe, so we had to completely take it out because it would have overpowered the chocolate in it, so we completely took that one out. Like I said, we use Splenda for sugar. The main reason for that, like I said, is Splenda is shaved sugar. So you use less of it. There's basically more air in it. So now that I've talked about creating the recipe, we're going to talk about the final product. This is the first batch of cookies that I made last week. And every time I made a batch, I had people trying them, so they were my guinea pigs. And I made so many batches, I had people telling me, don't bring them to me, I don't want to try them, I'm tired of tasting cookies. I used this recipe for my 4-H project, and I ended up going to the state fair and getting a blue ribbon at the state fair. And I was very proud of that. I was in the top 20 out of the state fair for nutrition and food. So I was very proud of that. Now every time me or my family meets a diabetic person, I tell them about the recipe, and we give them the recipe, and they are very thankful because they can actually eat this, and it's sweet, and it's very good. It's really delicious. So, in conclusion, I've talked about diabetes, creating the recipe, and the final product. So now, once you try these cookies, you'll see that they are delicious and they are healthy for you. Next time you meet one of the 25.8 million people, maybe you'll tell them about me and my recipe, and they'll like my diabetic cookies.
All right.